Hey guys, what's up? It's your boy No Big Deal, and this is Creative Control, the podcast where we dive into music, God, and the intersection of creativity and faith. Today on the show, we have my good friend and 6 times Billboard charting music producer, Kato On The Track. Welcome to the show, bro.
My soul brother.
My soul brother. Right into it, bro. Right into it. Yeah, we just got off the set of Never Going Back, the lead single.
I guess this podcast will be out.
This podcast will be out for sure. Or the project will be out.
The project will be out
by the time this podcast comes out. So we're good. People have already heard and seen everything.
Yeah. Just came back from the shoot, which was 3 days of a lot of traveling.
Yeah, a lot of traveling.
A lot of driving.
Yeah.
I was cooked after last night, bro. I won't even lie to you.
Yeah, so day 1, Nashville.
Yeah.
Day 2, like in the morning, we drive to Memphis. We shoot with Project Pat, and then we drive straight back. And then today in Murfreesboro. So 3-day shoot.
Which we were talking about this earlier, but I did not realize how crazy of a drive it was from Nashville to Memphis.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, this will be a quick hour and a half, 45 minutes. No.
Yeah.
It was like 4 hours for me.
If you're not a Tennessean, it's very hard to conceptualize Tennessee because it's long. It's very long. It's short.
Yeah.
Like you can get from Kentucky to Alabama in like 2 hours.
Right.
But if you're going across the state, it actually takes less time to get from here to Atlanta than from here to Memphis.
Yeah. It takes 18 hours to drive from one side of Tennessee to the other side. It's insane.
Yeah. I'm used to those drives because I'm used to going to the A all the time. And then
I'm not.
We have family in Memphis. So I just, you know what I'm saying? I ate that drive up, but you were struggling a little bit.
Yeah. Anything more than 2 hours for me in a car is, I will become unhinged.
Yeah, we saw that.
But it was good. It was good though.
All right, let's take them back a little bit for those who are not acquainted with you.
Okay.
Like I said, 6 times Billboard charting producer, like viral producer. I mean, the list goes on. Like produced for some legends. Like, so if you were to describe kind of like your career to the people, what would you say?
I've had a very interesting career, I would say. I think about this a lot myself, because I started just like working with the most lyrical kind of backpack rap type of artists. And then I got on TikTok and it completely flipped, did like a 180. And I became known for the dude who produced the So Pretty Challenge beat, which is like completely left field of everything that I was doing up to that point.
Right.
And then I had the opportunity to just work with a lot of people, like legends like Snoop and E40 and Too Short and Ice Cube and Tyga. And somehow I just started working with a lot of West Coast artists. I live in Atlanta. So I don't know. My career's just been like all over the map as far as the opportunities that I've gotten and the artists that I've worked with. And now you and I are working on this project together. And I've never worked with a Christian artist before. This is the first time that I've done a whole project.
Yeah.
And so, I think it's just been an evolution.
Yeah. So you mentioned a lot of like very interesting things. So let's take them back to the kind of the beginning of your production career. You said you were producing for like very lyrical rappers, right? Yeah. Take them back to that.
I mean, I came up with an artist named Jaron Benton who, most people that follow me are familiar with our history of working together. We were both in Atlanta. We linked up, started cooking up heavily, and we ended up signing to Funk Volume together. And so got to work with Hobson, Dizzy, Swizz, continued working with Jaron. And that was kind of the start, I think, of really for me, it was like the start of everything. You know, got to experience touring, got to experience the whole kind of independent artist movement. We were kind of early on that wave. I don't think.
Yeah, Funk Volume is legendary. I was gonna say that's another like connection that we had, because I don't know if I ever told you this, but me and Mowgli from Indie Tribe, we entered the Don't Funk Up Our Beats contest. Did you know that?
I did not know that.
Yeah,
wow.
We entered that in like 2015, and we got to like the final four of that.
Crazy.
So that was like even in Funk Volume era, like we just kind of missed each other, but like
that's wild.
Were you still working with them?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I was signed with Funk Volume up until the end when things just kind of imploded. But yeah, that was definitely a cool, unique experience for me.
And like, were you the type, like growing up listening to hip hop? Did you grow up listening to hip hop first of all?
Yeah, I started listening to hip hop probably in middle school. So I guess I was kind of late to the game. But I was always involved in music somehow, playing instruments and learning guitar, taking drum lessons early on. I started a rock band in high school with a couple of my friends, and I was on the drums.
Oh shoot.
You know, so
okay, so you play guitar and drums?
Yeah, not great.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's kind of how everything started, and then started listening to rap in probably the early 2000s when the whole crunk movement like started.
Yeah.
I remember sitting on the bus listening to Lil Jon and the East Side Boys, and then I went through a heavy Tupac phase.
Yeah. Are you in Atlanta at this point?
I'm not in Atlanta. This was pre-Atlanta. This was when I was still in Virginia.
Okay.
So yeah, that's kind of when everything started. And then I moved to Atlanta, and the whole snap music scene was like big, Soulja Boy and all that. And that's when I kind of took a lot of those down south influences in my production, and kind of fused it with like the DJ Premier and Jay Dilla style of production and all that. So yeah, that's pretty much how my sound became what it is today.
Okay, so this is very interesting. The down south influence and the Jay Dilla, DJ Premier. So if you were breaking down how those influences play a part in your beat creation, how would you describe that?
I would, oh man, that's tough. I mean, I'll say it like this. For anyone that really, really knows my catalog.
We're live.
So unprofessional.
All right. So for anyone who knows your
all right.
catalog,
so for anyone that knows the Kato on the Track deep cuts, goes back into my catalog from like 2008.
Yeah.
You listen to my beats back then, they all sound like bad replicas of Jay Dilla, DJ Premier, Dr. Dre.
Okay.
And then you listen to kind of my later stuff around 2012, 2013.
Yeah.
You'll start to hear a lot of like Atlanta trap, down south influence in my production. But, and now I just kind of do both. You know? Like I just fuse those two sounds together. I love sampling. Yeah. You know, but I also love just like the hard hitting like trap drums. Yeah.
Yeah, that actually took me by surprise when we were working on Soul Brother, and we'll get into how we like linked up. Yeah. But on this point, on like the kind of diversity of your production style, I had known you for more of the Southern, like hard hitting stuff. Like that's what I had heard. That's how I knew you. And so when we started working on the project, that's what I was kind of expecting. And we knocked those out. And then like
You didn't know your boy had range, did you?
I mean, not, bro. I was very impressed and taken aback, like when we switched over to like Strength in Song, or Suffering in Silence, like, bro, like Suffering in Silence. I was like, yo, this is crazy. You know what I mean? This is very like almost like avant-garde in a way, you know, alternative, you know. And then Strength in Song is a whole different vibe, so I can actually, and anybody who's listened to the project now, listen to SEOUL Brother, I think what you just said about your influences, and even how you started with like Funk Volume, and like it all makes sense within this project, like, you know what I mean?
I think we should talk about the genesis of how we even connected, because I don't think they
definitely don't
know that.
They don't. Okay, so I had heard some of your stuff around the internet, like before the TikTok boom. Like I had heard your tag before, like I don't even know what songs I had heard them on, but I knew your tag, like I had seen your name, and you put out like this, I don't know if it was a challenge, but it was this beat that you made out of the
Nintendo Wii, baby.
The Nintendo Wii. Yeah. The iconic little and so you made a beat out of that. You put it out and people were rapping to it.
Yep.
And
this was the pandemic, like what, 2021 maybe? 2021?
Or 2020 or 2021.
Yeah. This was like peak pandemic.
It was early. It was,
Everyone was locked inside the house, and I was like, let me just throw a bunch of beats on TikTok and see what happens.
Yeah.
And you were one of the artists that I saw duet one of my beats.
That's right.
And I was like, yo, this dude is snapping.
Yeah. Yeah. And it was funny because it was when Reels was new.
Yeah.
And like IG was trying to like compete with TikTok was going crazy.
Yeah.
And IG was trying to compete. And honestly, I hadn't really started doing my like vertical short form yet. I was still like heavy on like what it was before, you know, more long form type stuff.
Right.
And Reels was like, yo, we're giving bonuses to people who like who actually make Reels.
Yeah.
And so I was like, bro, I'm not trying to dance or do all this weird stuff. I was like, I like to rap. That's all I like to do. And so when you put that beat out, I was like, bro, this is a heaven send, because like I can make a reel, and all I gotta do is just rap to it. You know? And so I like rap to it, and it was like one of my highest performing like.
I'm trying to remember how your verse went.
I can remember the flow, but I don't remember what I said.
I got the video in my phone. We about to pull it up, but okay.
Yeah,
so
I don't have. We need to grow the podcast to the point where I can be like, hey, pull the either have the screen, pull up my. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But. Yeah, so that went crazy. You saw it.
I saw it. That's when I think that's when I first heard about you, was through that video. And then I followed you. Mm-hmm. So obviously after that, I just like kept up with everything that you were doing and dropping up to that point.
Yeah. And that's how I know I knew you before that, because I thought it was a really big deal that you followed me. But yeah, you followed at that time, and then.
Here's the thing.
Yeah.
When I saw that video, I still didn't know that you were like a Christian artist.
Right. Yeah.
That was not something that registered in my head. Mm-hmm. I just thought you were a dope artist, period.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And so anyway, so we kept in touch. Still like did not collaborate on anything one-on-one up to that point.
Yeah.
Right?
No, yeah, we didn't collab on anything. I was thinking, this is just kind of a funny thing that you're bringing up about like you didn't know that I was a Christian artist. And I'm remembering part of the verse. I don't remember the whole thing, but I know I said like call with the Father and Son. It's like a 3-way call or something like that.
Yeah.
And I said something about the sword of the Spirit too. But it's just interesting. It's like, I feel like there's something there. Like, you just thought that I was a dope artist.
Yeah.
I wasn't hiding my faith. I was very explicit about it in there.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that there's like two ways of thinking about it. Like, sometimes people think Christian rap or a Christian artist means it's going to be subpar. And that's not what you experienced with my rap. And then also on the Christian artist side, they think they have to like water down or hide their faith.
Yeah.
That's not what it is. Like that, I feel like that doesn't matter to you at all. If like, oh, they're saying something Christian, so I'm not going to rock with it. It's like, it just has to be good. Like, it has to connect with the people. And that's like how our relationship started.
Yeah, no, I think you did it. It didn't register to me because you did it in a way that I hadn't heard or experienced before.
Right.
You know, I kind of had those old preconceived notions about what a Christian artist was.
Yeah.
Because I'd never worked with one.
Right.
You know? So it was just in the way, like the pockets that you were hitting, the flow, and even the way that you were spitting your bars were like, oh, this is just dope.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. It was, and honestly, even back in the Funk Volume like contest, it was the same way.
Yeah.
Like we were rapping like we do now, but we made it to the final round just because like people were like, oh, this is dope. Like, this is not what we thought.
Yeah.
You know, so yeah, that was dope. We did not collab. That's what you just said. We didn't collab. We just like followed each other, just kind of kept up with stuff.
Yeah.
And then this was crazy. This was not.
I remember this.
Yeah, this was not like planned out or anything. I think I just got done working out. I had the endorphins going, and I was like, bro, sometimes I just want to rap. I just want to make like music. I feel like it's go time. And so I tweeted out like, man, I'm trying to get in the studio with one producer, 7 days, make a whole project, whatever we have in that 7 days. That's what we're putting out. And then I put that tweet also on Instagram, and you commented.
I saw it because one of, I guess, your fans or someone that followed both of us tagged me in the comments. And so I clicked on it and I was like, oh, what's this? And yeah, that's when I saw your tweet. Shout out to the fans, man. The fans made it happen.
Very true. Very, very true. They commented, you saw it, you commented like, let's do it or something.
Yes.
And I was like,
you were all over it.
I was like, bro, if you're serious, listen, I'm flying high right now off these treadmill endorphins. Like, if you're serious, like, let's get it.
And I was with it.
I'm
100%.
serious. Hit you up, was like, yo, what about these dates? You're like, let's do it.
We locked it in.
We locked it in. Like, and that's another thing, bro. You're so easy to work with.
Yeah.
Like, you have accomplished so much, like, incredible career, a lot more than a lot of other people, not to make that comparison, but for what I'm about to say, which is that you still remain so like down to earth, very like, if I text you, you're texting back. That's how we got this stuff done so fast, is because there wasn't kind of like this weirdness. It's just like, we're both artists. Like, either we want to do it or we don't. We do want to do it. Okay, let's get the dates. Let's just, the business was super easy. Like, bro, let's just, which is like, this makes so much sense, but I don't know why it's not like this. But it's like, bro, let's just split everything.
Yeah.
Let's just split all the costs and all the profits. Like,
just right down the middle, 50-50.
Like,
we both got skin in the game.
Yeah.
And we both just want to make good music and give it to the fans.
Yeah.
I think that was the inspiration and the genesis for everything. It's like, we just want to make a dope project, cook up some dope music, and give it to the fans.
Yep, exactly.
That was it. And I think that's something that a lot of producers, I feel like, and artists should want to do more of, is like, find a creative partner.
Yeah.
Find someone that you can really, really lock in with, create a sound, a world, a concept together, that's how me and Jaren did it. You know, that's why I was so used to that dynamic of like, when I saw that tweet, I was like, yo, this is an opportunity to do version 2.0 of like what me and Jaren already started, you know? And at that point I was looking for something new and different. It's like, I've already been doing this for so long that I constantly have to look for new, exciting things. That keep me motivated. And the only things that really do that, I've found, is locking in with an artist, like how we did.
Creative boundaries, like, I feel like innovation comes from the margin, right? So when you're on the come up and you're really hungry and you haven't like made anything, you haven't put something out, like people haven't experienced your music, there's already this boundary because you haven't made it past that ceiling. So that's why a lot of people's first projects or whatever they first do is like incredible. And then sometimes there's that sophomore slump because it's like, well, there wasn't the hunger, there wasn't the pressure, there wasn't the boundaries. So as you continue in your career and you experience a level of success, you have to create your own creative boundaries so that you will innovate, which is what I think you're speaking about. So it's like
100%.
Even for me, it's like the creative boundary of this has to happen in 7 days. And at 7 days, it's like pencils down, like that's it. So we're on the clock. That makes me write differently because I know I'm not revising. I know I'm not like, that makes you create differently. Like, and innovation happens. You know what I mean?
And the way that we did it, right? Like we got a whole Airbnb by the lake in Flowery Branch, Georgia. And locked in for, how many days were we there?
So we actually, it really was like 3.5 days, to be honest, because we got there.
We did it quick.
We got there, like we checked in like into the Airbnb at like 4 p.m. So that's a half day.
Right.
And then if you remember the last day, we were on the lake.
Yeah, we were kayaking on the last day. We took a day off.
We took a day off.
We were on the lake, enjoying the weather, the water, which was so nice, by the way, honestly. Like,
So it really was like 3.5 days, but we were just like, we were in flow state. You know? And I think, so something that was really cool, since we're getting into like, when we locked in together at the Airbnb, it definitely stretched me creatively, and you helped me like not overthink my writing. Like there was a lot of times you were encouraging me like, bro, don't overthink it. Like, or that, like, that's fire. Like, you don't need to revise that. You know what I mean? And I think the fans will hear that different approach. There's things that there's rhyme schemes, flows, like lyric choices that I made that I might have like self-edited, not in like a edit vulgarity type way, but just like a writer in your head, you're always like, is this the best line, or should I go to this line, or should I go to this line, or what if I rework it? And I actually love doing that. I pride myself on that. But for this project, it was like, bro, these people are going to hear lyrics that they never would have heard because they would have been shelved. So it's like really dope. There's like lines on there that's like, I don't think that I would have said that in that way. And so I even get to experience it as like something kind of fresh and unexpected to me, you know?
I think it's super important to, number one, just have creative partners that you trust. And there's something to be said about a mutual kind of respect going into it, right? Like I had a ton of respect for you as an artist and creatively what you were doing. And that was an inspiration to me. And I think just when both people go into a situation like that, like I trust that the first thing that comes to your head is going to be dope. And that it doesn't need to be overthought or reiterated multiple times. And so I was just going off that premise, you know? And
that's good.
And I think even the environment that we were in kind of cultivated that, you know, just being like, it felt like I was just with homies. And we were cooking up literally in the dining room.
Yeah. Yeah, it was in the dining room.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it didn't feel like a high pressure, high stress
Yeah.
situation. We had multiple days to make the music.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah, it just, I think creatively just was conducive to like a dope project.
Yeah. A big thing for me creatively is like community. And I think that right off the bat, like us doing it in person,
Yeah.
at the Airbnb, even the fact that like, you know, you mentioned having skin in the game, like,
Yeah.
well, yeah, let's park there for a second. Like a lot of times people want 50% of the cut or whatever. It doesn't matter what the percentages are. They want a certain amount of the cut, because they feel like their creative, contribution, they're only thinking of like the creative contribution, but it's like, bro, without the money,
Correct.
nothing happens. Like 50% of $0, which is what you're gonna get if you have no marketing plan, is $0. So it's like if you really think that, I want to be a partner in this, then you need to have skin in the game. You need to be paying for half of the cost.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Bro, in any other business in the world,
Yeah.
if you are a partner in something, you got some type of skin in the game.
Yeah, yeah.
You don't just say, "Oh, but I'm providing, 50% of the music. I should get 50% of everything that comes in after that."
Right.
It doesn't work like that.
Nah,
like you got to put in 50% of all aspects.
Yeah.
Right? Not just creatively, but the marketing,
Yeah.
the videos. You got to be able to contribute more than just the music.
Right.
The music takes care of the music.
Yeah.
But it doesn't take care of the marketing or anything else that comes after that,
Yeah.
right? And that's the part that I think a lot of producers especially don't understand. And
Yeah.
also they're not understanding like what publishing and masters and what the difference is and all that stuff. But like they're just thinking, "Oh, I contributed half of the music. I should get half of the money or the revenue from this." And it just doesn't work like that.
Yeah.
Once you really start to work closely with artists, you see how much other shit goes in behind the scenes.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And that's what I understood. And so that's why I was like, yeah, let's go half on everything.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%. I mean, like we said, we were on the set of the video for Never Going Back today.
Yeah.
And bro, I think because we had that foundation at the beginning, that understanding of like, we're partners in this, splitting all costs, splitting all the profit, that makes you involved in a different type of way.
100%.
So it's like, we're like, we're driving to Memphis together. We're like, you know what I mean? We're shooting this video together, and like, it's not like you're an inactive participant.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, I don't know. It just, it motivate. I feel like it just the business part of it, that financial part of it, that understanding up front of it, launched this like full creative partnership where we build this whole world that people have seen at this point. But like, like Soul Brother is like a restaurant, like a food truck, like a world.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like everybody that we've showed like these logos to, or the idea,
which is fire, by the way.
You know what I'm saying?
I mean, just like, look at this. This could legit be a real establishment.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Every time we show this idea to somebody, they're like, "Yo, this is an incredible marketing idea, and also, are y'all gonna start like a food truck?
Real
because
food truck,
like this would go crazy."
It's on the way. We just need about $250,000. That's
it.
Exactly.
So if anybody out there is watching and has $250,000, like you know what I'm saying, we have a crazy idea.
Yeah.
But no, shout out Mike at Bomb Me who let us use his food truck for the shoot today. Even when he saw the logo, he was like, "Man, y'all should do a food truck." He was like, "I'm not gonna lie, y'all's logo and y'all's name is better than mine." He was like, "Y'all got me beat, man. Y'all need to get a truck."
Yeah.
Like, he's trying to sell us on getting a semi and all this stuff. Like,
right.
Yeah. But that business understanding kind of allowed both of us to go all in creatively as well.
Correct.
I feel like.
Yeah. And yeah, that, I mean, I knew from the beginning that I wasn't just going to send you beats.
Right.
I didn't want it to be that type of collaboration.
Yeah.
Where I just email you a bunch of beats. You tell me which ones you're using, or you don't even tell me, you just record on it. And then you're like, yo, these are the ones I want to use.
Yeah.
Like, put these to the side for me. I knew that I didn't want it to be that type of project.
Right.
So yeah, it's like when you got skin in the game, you treat it differently.
Yeah.
It's a different mentality altogether going into
Yeah.
it. And those are personally the projects that I like more.
Right. And if we didn't do it in person, a song like Strength and Song is not going to happen.
Correct.
Because that happened because in that communal environment, we're having conversations, like we're having meals together. Yeah. We're showing each other artists that we work with, which is how I'm showing you Sarah Jors, who we sampled for Strength and Song.
Super dope.
Like that literally would not happen if we weren't together. A lot of the
Never Going Back would have never happened, bro.
You know what I mean? Like that stuff, you can't replicate that remote.
No,
because it's all about like the energy in the room. Literally in the room wouldn't
the room wouldn't have happened.
The room wouldn't have happened.
I mean, the interaction I think that we had with Never Going Back and how the whole idea of getting Project Pat on there, you know, like that would not have happened in any other way.
Right.
Except for in that moment when cooked up the beat on the spot. Mm-hmm. And then I remembered like it gave us a certain type of vibe, a Memphis type of vibe. And then
it was the snare,
talking.
like the snare you were on. I was like, bro,
I was like, I need a different snare. Like I need a Memphis style snare for this beat. And we found that snare. And then I just so happened to have,
this part is crazy too.
I just so happened to have a verse from Project Pat that never came out. And I was like, you know what? He might actually sound perfect for this track.
Right.
And I put it on. I put it over the beat, and it was perfect. That ended up being the hook of the song.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the chop that you did for the hook, crazy.
Yeah.
That's when we were like, I remember before we even like finished it, like cuz Michael was in there, 350 was in there, Roz was in there. And Michael was like, that's the one right there.
Yeah, that real-time feedback is important.
So you chopped that up, you made that the hook, and then
we used his vocals for the other part of the verse.
Yeah.
And so, you know, we ended up having to kind of tweak his verse a little bit, but that whole concept was basically born in that moment,
right.
You know?
Yeah.
And then you just went dumb on the verses.
I was hyped, bro. Like it was too good.
But we instantly knew that song was special.
Yeah.
You know, and that's the type of magic that happens in the moment.
Yeah.
When you're in there with an artist, coming up with a concept on the spot, getting that real-time feedback from the homies, and like it's just an energy that you get that doesn't happen with like, let me send you this beat.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It just can't happen. There's no way to like really replicate that. But I want the verse is, it's like it's even more interesting than that because we had that original verse.
Right.
And then we were like, okay, we need to get Pat's approval on this.
Right.
So we send it to him, and he's like, I actually want to write an original verse for this.
Yeah.
Which is nuts. That's crazy.
Yeah. So what happened is that I had that verse from a previous project that I was doing with Wingstop. Randomly. I don't know how we got that verse. But anyway, shout out to Mike Boyd at VaynerMedia. He kind of connected all of us. And so anyway, I cooked up a track for that Wingstop project. We got a Project Pat verse for it. Ended up never coming out.
Right.
So I had that verse just sitting there for a while. And by the time that we were done with that song, I reached out to Pat's team and I was like, yo, this is the song that we made. Is it cool if we put this out? Mm-hmm. He actually ended up using that verse on Juicy J's album.
Oh, okay.
So we couldn't use that verse anymore, but he was like, we'll cut a new one.
Yeah.
So they cut a new verse. We kept the same hook on there.
Yep.
And that's how people got the current version of the song.
And the new verse, like, it fits the song so much better. Like, when you sent it to me, I was like, bro, I'm so glad first of all, that he actually liked the song. Because a lot of times, like, you know, people are just trying to get a check or whatever, but he liked the song enough to write another verse and it be like, it line up perfectly with what else was said in the song.
Yeah. Live life to the fullest.
Yeah, you love that.
Come on, bro.
You love that line.
Live life to the fullest.
Live life to the fullest. Ooh. Yeah.
And the ad-libs.
Yeah, the ad-libs.
The ad-libs go crazy.
He gave us the pata.
Yeah.
Like, he went in, bro. Yeah, that was amazing. And like, that's magic that can't happen.
Yeah.
If you're not together. Another thing, had you met Project Pat before yesterday?
Not in person. No.
Not in person?
Mm-mm.
So yesterday was both our first times meeting him.
Yeah.
One thing is, bro is according to the internet, he's 6'6". I mean, he's at least 6'4".
He's at least, I'd say he's at least 6'2".
He's taller than 6'2". He's taller than 6'2".
Yeah, he's
because here's the thing. Now we're just talking about height, but we're gonna do it. So here's the thing. He also has a very large frame. Like he's like a really big guy, right?
Yeah.
You gotta to know somebody's real height once they're like up there, like up past 6'2".
Yeah.
You have to imagine them like super skinny, and then you'll get an accurate read. So if you took somebody. You remember what he looked like yesterday? Yeah. Now imagine somebody skinny. You'd be like, that dude's 6'4". He wasn't 6'2", bro.
You're right.
You know what I mean?
You're right.
If he was skinny, he would have looked crazy tall, bro.
Yeah, why is that?
I don't know. It's just the way it is, bro. He's not 6'6", though.
It's deceiving.
That Google is a little just doing too much with 6'6".
He's not 6'6" is.
That's Michael Jordan. That's how tall Michael Jordan is.
That's like the height of these ceilings, if not.
Oh, it's not the height of the ceilings.
Okay. I'm going overboard now. I'm sorry.
It's not the height of the ceilings.
All right, I'm going overboard.
But he was tall. But okay, this is a funny story. I'll let the fans in on. So we're driving down to Memphis. We're in two different cars, but in my car is Cinematics and Roz.
Yeah.
And I'm driving and I'm like, bro, look up how tall Project Pat is. Because in my head, I'm like, bro looks like a big dude. I'm the tallest one in the car.
Yeah.
And I'm 5'9".
Yeah.
All right. So.
And suddenly Short King Dill came out.
I'm like, bro, I'm not trying. It is not a cool thing to be in a rap video and a man is a foot taller,
towering over you.
Everything you're rapping about, nobody cares, bro. You're a foot shorter than the other guy in the song. That's all that matters, right?
Yeah.
So I'm like, this is such a true and behind the scenes moment. So I'm driving. I'm like, bro, look up how tall he is. Roz is like, he's 6'6". I'm like, all right, it's just Roz being Roz, right? I mean, you know Roz. I'm like, all right. How tall is he? He's like, look, he's 6'6". I'm like, all right, bro. Nah, his scene has to be a seated scene. Like, I'm not standing next to this guy. Change the video. He's gonna be seated. Number one. Number two, the plan was for him to show up and us already be
wearing the aprons.
Yeah. And I was like, I'm not wearing this apron and a dude a foot taller than me is walking on set. I'm wearing a whole fit. So I put a whole fit on, put all my chains on, all my rings on.
I pulled up fully expecting to see Dill in this right now. He was like wearing this man was dripped out. chains on. He had the jersey, the custom jersey on.
Custom jersey, the no big deal one, bro.
What's going on? I thought we were shooting in the apron.
Bro, I gotta compensate, bro. I'm a foot shorter. You know what I'm saying? He gotta pull up, and I gotta look like a superstar, bro, just to make up for the height.
I feel you.
Like, the height thing is not fair, bro, because it's like you could just be in like just a quality t-shirt and, you know, some kind of cool pants, some shoes.
Yeah.
If you're tall, it's cool.
Yeah.
It happens on stage too. I'm about to throw Lecrae under the bus. So like Lecrae, like when he's on stage,
another tall man.
You've met him.
Yes.
He's tall. When he's on stage, he looks so cool. Really not doing nothing, bro. He's just tall. That's it.
Yeah.
He's just tall.
Yeah.
Like, and this is how you know. This is what I've actually done this with like my friends, but I'm like, all right, look at how cool he looks, right? Now imagine him 5'5" doing the same exact thing.
Yeah, not as cool.
Get him off the stage, bro.
Not as cool.
Get him off the stage.
That's true. It's something about, I don't know. I feel like it's the lizard part of our brain that's like, this human is like superior because they're taller, bro. Because they're taller.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah. Short king talk.
Yeah.
You understand? So anyway, I had my whole fit on and made Project Pat sit down for the shot. But shout out Pat. He was great, bro. He was dope. He's
legend. OG.
Legend. That's the most like rapper experience that I've ever had.
Really?
Like, I mean, yeah, like most of my stuff is very communal. Like, it's
That's
very
true.
like,
yeah.
Like I said, even though you're like extremely accomplished, like most of my stuff that I create, it's like with people who have similar personalities and outlooks. So it's like, yeah, we just pull up and we work. Pat, you know, he's obviously he's a legend. He deserves this, but it's like one.
They're about their business.
One dude on the phone is like, yo, meet us at this spot, or we're cool with that spot. Another dude pulls up, yo, is the business straight? Y'all ready? All right, check everything out. All right, cool.
You got 30 minutes.
Like once everything is set up, it's like, all right, bet. We got 30 minutes. Pat's about to roll out. He needs to be able to walk on set, do his thing. And so we're like, all right. We get the set ready, whatever. Yeah. We're ready. He walks on, and he's like the nicest dude. Like, he's super nice.
Yeah.
He's like talking to
real chill.
Talking to Garrett, like, all right, what you need me to do? You need me to look here? You need me to, you want me to rap like this? Whatever.
Nah, he's a real professional.
Yeah.
I mean, he's been doing this a long time.
Yeah.
I'm sure his team's been doing this a long time.
Facts.
They've done a lot of business with a lot of people. They've probably gotten finessed on a lot of things.
Yeah.
And like, you know, when you operate at that level, that stage in your career, I feel like you have to set kind of strict parameters with how you're working with people, especially if you don't know them.
Yeah.
You know, which we never met him before.
And that's the sense. That's the sense that I got, was like once he was actually doing the video with us, and like he really rocks with the song and the message of the song. You know, they call him Pastor Pat now. He's got a whole like prison ministry, a whole like nonprofit and everything. Once he was with us and like rapping song, I think he was like, oh, these dudes are cool.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, even his manager texted us after, said everything was like super cool. So yeah, I think a lot of that stuff is just, unfortunately, when you've been in the game that long, people try to finesse, they have you pull up places and it's not what they said it was going to be or whatever. But yeah, for me, I was like, yo, this is like some real rap stuff right here, bro. Like, I never, like, all right, you know, we here. And then of course he walked in and he was 6'4". So I was like, all right, immediately get him sitting down as fast as possible, please. Like,
yeah, but we did some more shots standing up, so I feel like after a while you were like, you were okay with it.
We did shot standing up, but I'm gonna go ahead and confess this since we're already here. Me and Garrett talked about it on the way down, and he said he would do the forced perspective thing that they did in Harry Potter with Hagrid. I have to be honest on the podcast. So that's why we were staggered a little bit.
Okay.
So you remember how we were staggered?
I remember.
He
was like, make a triangle. Dill, Kato, you two stand a little bit behind Pat.
Yeah.
We're like, all right.
Yeah. So essentially we'll all look, you know,
the same height.
Around the same height. Shout out to Cinematics. Shout out to Hagrid. You know what I mean? You didn't think we were going to get here in this conversation, but shout out to Hagrid. Shout out to Harry Potter. I'm on the 3rd book right now.
Inspired.
You know what I mean?
Inspired.
But nah, the video was fire. I mean, everybody the crazy thing about how time works with the podcast is like everybody watching this right now has either watched the video or has the opportunity to watch it. We don't know what it looks like.
No idea.
We don't know.
I think it'll be good.
Yeah, I think it's going to be crazy. But we don't know yet. Soul Brother really happened. This is one thing that I want the people to know. It actually happened like in the time period. Like we didn't like, we technically still have like 2 days left.
Yeah.
Of the 7 days.
Deluxe version.
Deluxe version. Soul Brother, what would that be? Soul Brother, like doggy bag or something like that. Soul Brother, like takeout or something like that. You know what I mean? What is your favorite song on the project?
Ooh. Oh man, I think I might have to. Okay, I've definitely listened to Never Going Back the most.
Right, that makes sense.
Not just because it's the single.
Okay.
It just gives me that energy.
Yeah.
It just, you know.
Yeah. It
gives
really
me
is
that
like
energy.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's I guess that would have to be my favorite.
I mean that makes sense. That's why we picked it as the single.
Yeah.
I think I mean it's hard not to say Never Going Back. I am a really, really big fan of Strength and Song.
Yeah.
Though.
Also fire.
Yeah. I got the opportunity to perform that live with Sarah at No Big Deal Unplugged, and live is another one of those things where, like when you perform a song live, you really get to see the impact.
Yeah.
Like it's not just in the studio anymore. You're face to face with people.
Correct.
And that's the actual proving ground
100%
of the song, and seeing how like people loved that song, like. And we're putting that on the unplugged version of the album too. And like, I can't wait for you to hear that too, because like, bro, the crowd's reaction to it like was incredible.
See, I haven't seen that yet because I was not at the Unplugged show.
Yeah.
So I'm dying to see just the fans' reaction in real time, hearing the music.
Yeah.
You know, I can't wait to see that.
Yeah. So I would say, I mean, it's hard to do just one. I guess it's both. It's Never Going Back and Strength and Song. I think the lyrics of Strength and Song are going to help a lot of people.
Very different songs, by the way, but
yeah,
both equally dope.
Yeah. Those two songs that might show like the whole spectrum of
the range,
the range. Like those two songs.
Yeah, 100%.
Together, I think so. What project? Other than Soul Brother, what project are you just most proud of in your career?
In my career?
Yeah.
I would probably go back to those early days of me and Jaren just grinding it out, recording in my living room. More or less like the same process that we went through with our project.
Right.
Just, I don't know, 7 years earlier, you know? Those early projects like Huffing Glue with Hasselhoff, Freebasing with Kevin Bacon, My Grandma's Basement, those 3 projects were like very core memories for me.
Yeah, for sure.
And I had fun making them.
Yeah.
Like the best projects, the best music, I feel like should just be fun. It should be an experience making it, you know? It's like you're taking a snapshot of a moment in time and then putting it into music form.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what we did at that time. And I think that music captured those moments of our lives like so perfectly that they're still my favorite to this day.
Yeah. And that's like that community aspect coming back in, because you wouldn't feel that way about those projects if it was just you just sending beats. Like they're so special to you because like you remember where you were, like the conversations you had, like the energy in the room, and like the spark of the inspiration. Yeah,
and then getting to tour with him and then seeing the fans' reaction in real time. Like that was a different experience for me as a producer. Yeah, I was his show DJ and his hype man.
Nice. Okay.
So I was running like back and forth, like to the front of the stage and then behind, like press and play.
Yeah.
It was.
I didn't know you had like stage experience like that.
Yeah. Well, I started as an artist. For like a couple years.
Yeah.
Up until when I moved to Atlanta. And then I found Jaron and then started producing all his beats. And that's when I kind of fell into production. But before that, Jaron and I actually met with me being an artist.
Okay.
I was doing the same open mics and
little
shows
you were straight
that
up
he
rapping.
was doing. I was rapping.
Wow.
Rapping my ass off.
Wow. Bro, that's crazy. I actually didn't know that.
Yeah.
So, I don't know, bro. We might have to do like a Soul Brother mini set like at Holy Smoke or something like that.
I'm down.
Like you still got your chops, bro. You're like.
I mean, you know,
because you know the stage is different.
yeah, I know.
Yeah,
I know. Yeah,
that would be crazy though. Like that would be,
bro.
Like,
I'm 100% down. I think that would be fun.
Yeah,
that would be so fun. Like
your tag habit. Like you're not up there. Like I've already done some stuff. You know. All right, I'm giving away the stuff. I gotta stop.
Yeah.
I gotta stop. All right, bro. I think it's time.
Okay.
I got to take you into the control room.
Okay.
The control room is where I ask you rapid fire questions. And you got to answer the first thing that's on your mind. The first thing that comes to your head. All right.
All right.
You ready? You prepare? I see you even got in a different position. I think you're ready. All right. If you could swap lives with any fictional character for a day, who would it be and why?
Any fictional character?
Swap lives.
I would swap lives with Bruce Lee and Enter the Dragon.
You said it, not me. No, that's
all right. Yeah, that's who I picked,
wait. Does he play himself?
No, he plays a different character.
That works.
Yeah,
okay.
he doesn't play Bruce Lee.
You can't just become Bruce Lee.
No, he doesn't play Bruce Lee.
Okay, so you would swap lives with
his character in Enter the Dragon.
In Enter the Dragon. Okay.
Next one. Let's go. I'm on fire right now.
All right. What's the most ridiculous thing you believed as a child?
The most ridiculous thing that I could be a music producer.
Ooh, I like that. Okay. All right.
Dreams come true, kids.
What's the most outlandish request you've ever received from a client or fan?
The most outlandish request.
Yeah. I've seen you post some crazy stuff on Instagram.
Yeah, probably. Oh, there was an email that I got recently where a dude offered to cook for me in exchange for being his producer. Like he said he can make me fried rice and read me books, all kinds of like crazy stuff that.
Okay, wait, hold on. Wait. We got.
If you go to my Instagram, you can see the actual email.
Was the guy Asian?
I have no idea.
This is very problematic if he wasn't Asian and he said I can make you fried rice.
I believe
you make me a beat.
It's my personal belief that he was not Asian.
Like that's like a guy being like, yo, Dill, bro, if you give me a verse, I'll fry you some chicken. That's crazy.
I got some watermelon, Dill. Just give me a verse.
Yeah, that's kind of crazy, bro. I'm hoping he was Asian, but most likely not, right?
No, I highly doubt it.
Not. Okay, all right. What's your favorite No Big Deal lyric?
Ooh.
Made a whole project together. Been talking about how much you respected me, how much fun you had at the Airbnb.
Hold on. Let me.
Just shot a video together. Literally.
The line that stands out in my head, and I know how this is gonna sound because like I'm in it. Kato got to jump in like a sonogram.
Okay, it's a good line. It's a good line.
It's a good line, bro.
It's a good line.
No one in the history of rap has ever said that line before.
Yeah, and I really like to do stuff like that, and that's why it's passable. Even though you did one with your name, it is true. I don't think anybody's ever said that before.
It's a good line, bro.
All right, we'll take it. We'll take it. All right. Final question. What is your specific problem with John Keith?
My specific problem with John Keith is that I don't know John Keith.
Nobody really does, though, is the thing.
You know, like I met him at Holy Smoke.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think we exchanged contacts.
If he gave you his right number.
Yeah. And he just ghosted me after that.
Yeah. See, this is what I'm talking about.
So,
bro, you're a 6-time Billboard charting producer. You've worked with Snoop Dogg, Ice Cube, like everybody, bro. The list goes on.
I feel a certain type of way. I won't lie.
Snoop will text you back.
Yeah.
Ice Cube will text you back.
And
Tyga will text you back.
I can't get a single word from John. So
unbelievable, bro. Some people, you know what I mean? Some people just,
yeah.
I was going to say it's no home training, but that's actually not true. I know his family. They're lovely.
It's just rude.
Him. It's just him.
It's just rude.
You know?
It's
just rude.
It's just rude.
All right, you passed, man. Thank you. This has been Creative Control. It's your boy, No Big Deal. I'll see y'all next time.